So, I know my last video was about PCs and about the parts and whatever. But as I changed out some of my parts, my brother finally got all his PC parts and we got to building his PC. He's been buying parts for a few months and he's put a lot of time into researching the ins and outs of computers, but I've built like 20 or 30 towers before, so I went over there to help him. I kind of ended up nerding out and taking over the entire operation because the parts he picked were just perfect. Starting off this build, he bought the beautiful Corsair 3500X, which is probably the best case I've ever built in, and especially the best Corsair case I've ever worked with. Something me and my brother noticed about this case is, compared to other Corsair cases, like mine, they usually have super tinted windows on them, but his were basically crystal clear. And I think it's because it's a dual chamber and it's mostly comprised of glass that they couldn't tint it because they knew people would be angry, like I am, about mine being tinted. Corsair, please make replacement glass. Also, all the side panels come off super easily. They don't work on the old hinge system like they used to. They click in at the top, but if you fold the panel out towards you, it just comes out. It sits in this little groove, and it's just really nice. You don't feel like you're gonna crimp down on a cable or anything like you used to. He also ended up getting my exact motherboard. I have the Gigabyte B650 Tomahawk by MSI. It did have an older BIOS on it, and it needed to be updated with my old 7600 CPU in order to work with the CPU that he got, which was the beautiful 9900X. Now, I did just get a 9700X myself, and he just stepped me up. He big broed me because he literally is my big brother. 12 cores was beautiful. But I didn't get any close-ups of the CPU because we were kind of short on time. He had a business meeting to attend to, and he wanted to be present during the entire build, so I wasn't exactly worried about all the camera angles I was getting. For RAM, he also copped some DDR5 Corsair Vengeance RGB sticks, which were beautiful, but we had this really weird issue with Corsair iQ. We can't get the RGB sticks to work with the rest of the system. They just glow red. So if anybody's had this issue with these sticks, please let me know down in the comments how to fix that, because, bro, I have no idea. I've never seen it before. I have the older Corsair iQ stuff, and I've never really had any issue other than Corsair iQ being kind of glitchy, and I just have normal Vengeance LPX, so mine is just low profile and has no RGB because I'm poor. He also got a Samsung 990 1TB SSD. I've actually never worked with a Samsung because most of the time people kind of skimp on their SSD. His PC is kind of this hybrid between a work PC and a gaming PC because he does work from home and does a lot on his computer, but he also does play video games just like I do. There was a lot of games he was interested in, like BeamNG, 6 Days in Fallujah, and later on he does intend to get more storage. But this is just the best option for having his operating system and then multiple games on. I was also explaining to him while we were doing this that when you put an M.2 under a heatsink, make sure to take off the little adhesive sticker because everyone knows that on that thermal pad there's a sticker, and if you don't take it off, it'll melt to your SSD, and you'll have just such a good and great time trying to clean that up and also probably having to replace your SSD. So Ian, if you're seeing this video, I'm not mad at you, I'm just disappointed. Once we got the BIOS updated, we ripped it back apart and installed the 9900X, along with a super nice Corsair 360mm Titan AIO. One of the nicest things about these fans that come with it, along with all the other Corsair fans he bought, was they all daisy chain into each other without using cable. I have some older Corsair fans, and I have this massive Corsair iQ hub in the back that only takes about 6 fans. I actually have 2 on my 240mm that are completely off RGB-wise because I literally just cannot bring myself to buy an old Corsair iQ hub. Luckily, he doesn't have that problem. All the ones he bought daisy chained together, so as long as you have 3 to 4 cables, you're gonna power all 9 of these fans. Now, these don't slide into each other as cool as the Lee and Lee fans, but they do click into each other, and the cables included were really nice too, but there was one that was broken. I think it's because he did buy refurbished fans, but again, quality control issue, because when they refurbish it, they're supposed to come with new cables. The new Corsair iQ hubs are actually fantastic as well. They have way less mess for cables. The fans being able to daisy chain to each other and just having one cable run. They come off in this T kind of shape. The power comes in below, and then it tees off into 2 different directions where you can plug in an entire daisy chain of fans. Also, they're magnetic, which is really nice. They do come with some adhesive if you want to have a little bit more stability, if you need to install more than one, because there is plenty of scenarios. Like this case does have an indention in the back for one of them, but if you're going to install 2, you probably want to put a piece of adhesive because it had a tendency to fall down, and if you're going to move your computer around, like I move my computer around, you're going to need that piece of adhesive just for stability. Now, once we finished all that up, he went to his meeting and I went to work. Cable management. I wasn't going to be lazy. I ran everything around. I was unplugging stuff from the back, and this Corsair RM1000 was amazing to work with because it's fully modular, so it wasn't a lot of cables to move out of the way, and if I needed them reoriented, I could just completely unplug them from the PSU and do as I need. Something I did get confused about was the fans that we put in the bottom. I thought they may screw in from the bottom up, up and I took the PSU out to do that. And then I realized I was like, oh, we need AIO, like those long screws that go all the way through, because the holes that were in the bottom of the case were actually already threaded. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to put a self-tapping fan screw through that. It's just going to tear the case up. Now, you actually don't get to see me install these fans because this is where the video cuts off. My phone battery died and I didn't get a time lapse of it. And by the time I had charged it again, I completely forgot. And we just went to putting all the rest of the stuff in. We put the 3 fans in the bottom and we installed his MSI 5070. This being a triple fan card but only having 2 slots was really nice, and again, I mean, you didn't get to see it. I hate that I didn't get to document it for you too, because it's a really nice GPU, and he got the exact PSU that was needed. It come with a 500-watt GPU cable, so we didn't have to have that ugly squid hanging off the front trying to get 2 8-pins to work with the 500, and it just worked out so perfectly. This is what we ended up with. And again, I'm sorry I didn't get to document everything, like installing the GPU or installing Windows, and Windows was an absolute headache. Just a tip for you guys, build a computer that's off a Wi-Fi motherboard and you don't have some form of Ethernet nearby. You may have to bypass Windows in order to install Windows without having internet. You actually just hit Shift F10 and then type in a command that I don't remember. I read it off of Reddit and it worked fine, but it was a whole headache. I'm not going to get into it. This is kind of meant to be a quick video, and I just wanted you guys to see what I've been working on. If I'm going to spend my time doing something, I'm at least getting something out of it for YouTube or Twitch, and this is what I spent my time with. So I wanted to show you guys, document the stuff. And if you guys like all this PC stuff, please, I don't know, either give me money or email NVIDIA and AMD, and let's see which one will give me the top-of-the-line GPU to benchmark, but like permanently. You're not taking it back. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and hopefully I'm going to be able to build more PCs later on in life. It is very expensive, though. I do want to start some form of a business, probably building PCs, but I don't know how that's going to go because I'm kind of terrified, and I'm only like 21. I don't know how respected I'm going to be in this whole PC world. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. I'll see you next time, and bye.